Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. What an amazing episode. But before I get into my review, if you're new to this channel, hello and welcome. I summarize and review the latest Central Kapımı episode, say what I like, what I didn't like, what I think might happen next. If you like these kinds of videos, like, comment, share, but most importantly subscribe so we can meet on a weekly basis. As always, let's talk a little bit about the side storylines before we dive into the Eda and Serkan storyline. So first we have Engin and Pırıl, and I have to say I was kind of disappointed with this whole reveal of her father, and I expected it to be more, I don't know what to say, but I expected more of it. And yeah, we know his name is Aziz and he has some mafia things going on, and yeah, that's all we know from him. So at the beginning of the episode, Engin is calling Serkan quite desperately because Pırıl disappeared and he's really worried, what if she got kidnapped, blah blah blah. But then she appears and she tells them that she was with her father, blah blah blah, and that her father wants to meet Engin. Engin is like really relaxed. Oh, of course I can do that, I can talk with your father, blah blah blah. But she's very tense, very, please don't talk like that, he won't like this, blah blah blah, trying to brief him on how to talk to your father. And then she kind of gets really worried because Engin has been away for a very long time, and when she calls him, he's actually hanging from a tree upside down. It was really interesting because Engin hid his situation, so it didn't let Pırıl know what he was going through, and that kind of amazed Pırıl's father. So he said he passed the first test, now he has to do the second one. So they blindfolded him and just left him in the woods, and he had to find, I don't know, a fire, or he had to go somewhere special. So anyways, he tries to find a way out, but then lands on a paintball site where Ferit, Ceren, Erdem and Leyla are. And after that he finds a fire and some bread, and Aziz comes and is like, you passed the second test and get ready for the third one, you need to be rested or something like that. And then we don't really see the third one because Engin just appears at the ceremony where Serkan's family is asking for Eda's hand. He then tells Pırıl that her father accepted him and accepted their marriage, and that was it kind of. And I was really disappointed because they hyped him up that much and hid him. I don't know, it was so mysterious. I thought he would be a second old lady, but I was quite disappointed with the Aziz storyline. Then we have Ferit and Ceren. We didn't really see that much of them, just them helping their friends. So Ceren helping Eda and Ferit helping Serkan, and then Ceren kind of whining but not really complaining, but just telling Ferit that both of them are quite boring in comparison to Eda and Serkan and Engin and Pırıl. There's always excitement with them, there's no boring moment. And that's when it clicked for Ferit and he said, I have a surprise for you, and that's how they landed on a paintball pit, because he just wanted to do something with Ceren, which I thought was really adorable. But other than that, we didn't really see much of them. Then we have Balca. Also, we didn't really see much of her, just her talking on the phone, saying to the other person that Serkan is her destiny and she's still fixed on him and she's still obsessed with him and she won't give up. She will do everything that she can to get Serkan, because she was really shocked when she saw Serkan and Eda walk hand in hand into the office, and then Eda flaunting her engagement ring in front of Balca. And Balca, to hide kind of her disappointment, she congratulated her, and then she gets a call from the old lady. So they have a little meeting where the old lady tells Balca that she shouldn't give up, and that even though Eda and Serkan will get married, she should keep pursuing Serkan and not give up, blah blah blah. So kind of motivating her to keep doing the things she was doing, because the old lady had to kind of change her plan. I don't think that she will ever refuse and give up on the initial plan. So we will still see, even though she accepted their marriage and engagement, I don't think that she will rest for even 1 second. And then what was really confusing for me was when Eda and Serkan had this little moment, or Eda being frustrated because tradition says that the groom's side brings sugar or some sweetener to the bride's side, and because Serkan gave the list that the old lady provided to both of them, he kind of gave it to everybody. So Leyla had a part, like the bath things, Erdem was in charge of food, Ferit also helped, and Pırıl. And because Erdem was in charge of food, he had to bring the sugar, but because Erdem couldn't find any sugar anywhere, Eda was really frustrated because it's tradition, and if they don't do it, then the old lady might have something against them, blah blah blah. When that moment happened, Balca was also there, and then when Serkan went away, she kind of apologized for everything to Ada that she did, and she just wants to make it up and hopes that Ada will invite her to her henna night. And I was like, really? Do you have other plans? Like, I couldn't quite read her, so I was like, okay, I really do hope that you're redeeming yourself, but at the same time I'm like, no, you're still obsessed with Serkan, so it doesn't really make sense, but we will see. Ada accepted her apology and gave her a second chance and invited her to the henna night. But that's what I'm going to talk later about. Then we have the old lady not accepting Ada and Serkan's engagement when both of them are telling her, because the first person they're telling is the old lady actually, and she just stays silent and looks at them and just walks away. And then we see her in the car calling the prince, because the prince was a no-show in this episode because he had to go to his country apparently for some business. Anyways, the old lady informed him that Ada and Serkan are engaged and that they have to change the plan, blah blah blah. And for her not to be the reason why Ada and Serkan are not getting engaged, she tries to get everybody on her side. So she tries to blackmail kind of Ayfer by telling her, well, we want the best for Ada, and sometimes you need to be a little harsher for them to recognize and see what's best for them because they're blinded, blah blah blah. So she's kind of planting those seeds in Ayfer's brain. So Ayfer is completely against the marriage. Then we have the old lady going to Aydan and also blackmailing her, telling her, you have to be against this wedding, you're not allowed to give your permission to it, because if this wedding goes through, I will destroy Serkan, I will take everything that he loves, blah blah blah. So his fate is kind of in your hands. But then, because Ada and Serkan really want to get married, they try to convince Aydan and Ayfer, but both of them are quite strong on their stance and are saying, no, I'm against it. And then Melek comes up with the idea to use Chef Alexander. So both of them, Ada and Serkan and Aydan and Ayfer, are at the restaurant. So Ada is faking a nice meal with Ayfer, and then Serkan and Aydan appear, and it was so awkward. And then when Chef Alexander came and Ada told him, yeah, they want to get married, but the problem is them two, she's kind of using, and also Serkan is using Chef Alexander to kind of convince Aydan and Ayfer. By some miracle, they accepted and they want the best for their children, or Ayfer for her niece. But Chef Alexander has a really great impact on both of them. And then when they're about to go, he tells Ayfer that he wants to talk to her in private and tell her something. Aydan was really jealous, because it turns out when he crashes the not really engagement party, or is it the engagement? I think it's the engagement party, that's what it's called. Anyways, Chef Alexander comes and is like, well, I want to propose something, and everybody is like crazy because they finally want to get this over with, the engagement between Ada and Serkan, but people keep interrupting. And when Chef Alexander said that, everybody is so confused, so shocked, especially Aydan. She was just losing her mind. And then I thought, okay, I don't really think that he means proposing as in a marriage proposal, but more like a job proposal. But because he's Italian and doesn't really know the Turkish language, there is this language barrier. And then when he finally says that he wants, oh, before that, he actually says that he wants to take Ayfer for 2 days or something like that, and everybody is like, this is not the place and the time, what are you doing, what are you talking about? And then Serkan trying to find a solution to this whole situation, and him being so overwhelmed, everybody is so confused, saying stuff. And then Chef Alexander finally says, well, I want you, Ayfer, to work for me, because since the first time I saw you, I wanted you to work for me, blah blah blah. Ayfer says she will need some time to think about it. Later in the episode, Chef Alexander actually appears in front of Ayfer's door with some food, or is it a cake? I think it was a cake. And then she tells him that she accepts his job offer and he's really happy. And when she accepted that job offer and they were talking about this cake, there was this romantic music, and I do think that's kind of a sign that there's something building between them, even romantically. romantically, not just professionally. So yeah, that's about it, I believe. Oh no, we were at the grandma storyline. So after that, the old lady wants to play that she is accepting the marriage and Aidan and Ayfer are against it, but in the end we see that Aidan and Ayfer are accepting it, so the old lady has to change the plan. Is there something else except for, oh, there was also the scene. So Aidan was in charge for the food. As I already said, he couldn't find the sugar, and then when he went out a shop, there was a man on the phone, really suspicious for me, and Aidan walks away. And then a lady comes, and later I recognized her as the assistant from the prince, so they were talking together. And then later we see Aidan being really desperate to find some sugar, and then the prince's assistant appears with a box full of sugar or sweetener, whatever, tells Aidan to use that because the prince heard from the old lady there's a problem, blah blah blah, but please don't tell anybody where you got the box from. So I really do hope that Aidan will tell them the truth. Okay, I do think that's all now, and we can move on to the Eda and Serkan storyline. So the episode starts where we left off, Eda proposing to Serkan. Serkan is over the moon, he's so happy. Serkan accepts the proposal. Eda is finally telling him the truth about why she broke up with him, why she behaved the way she did, and that's when Serkan finally understood everything. And then her asking him what they will do in Paris, because they were actually on the flight there. And then Serkan is telling her everything he wants to do with her, and then propose to her in a very, very romantic way. And she, the proud woman she is, she's like, well, didn't you like my proposal? Why do you need to propose again? And then he tells her that what if their children will ever ask him, how did you propose to mother? He can't say that. Of course he accepts her proposal, but he also wants to do a proposal. And that's when he gets a desperate call from Engin where he thinks that Pırıl was kidnapped. And then after Pırıl appears and explains everything, Serkan is like a little child telling Eda, go on, tell them our good news, blah blah blah. It was just so adorable to see him so excited and tell everybody, and everybody was so excited for them, so happy for them. Then, as I already said, the first person they're going to tell is the old lady. She then tells them, well, I didn't expect you to complicate the things that much. And then Eda is like, well, if you accept our marriage, there's a chance for us to be a family, kind of. And the old lady just looks at them, and Serkan trying to convince the old lady, and then the old lady just walks away. Oh, then in the meantime, while Eda and Serkan are doing this, Ayfer is kind of hypnotizing Melek with some food or something, gets all the information out that she's on a plane to Paris, that she wants to propose to Serkan, blah blah blah. Ayfer is losing her mind. She desperately calls Ayfer, we have a problem, they're going to marry, I don't want that. Then Aydan and Ayfer are fighting with each other, telling each other that they don't trust each other's families. Eda and Serkan appear, tell them the great news, but both women are against the marriage except for Seyfi and Melek. They're so happy that they're engaged. After that, Serkan brings Eda to a bar type of thing where a person is playing the piano and everything is like candlelit and really romantic, and them sitting down, and then suddenly the lights go out, Serkan disappears, and then he appears playing the piano, and it was just so adorable. And I was like, oh my god, he's going to propose to her. And then he confesses his feelings to her, and she also tells him some things, really, really adorable, really romantic. And then he proposes to her, and of course she accepts. But it was just so amazing. Thank god they didn't cut this scene, because I would have lost it. Oh, and when Serkan stopped playing the piano, Eda was like, did you just play the piano for me? And then he's like, Serkan Polat will do anything for you. And I was like, oh my god, so adorable. Then we have Aydan and Ayfer having a conversation with Serkan and Eda, and both of them kind of saying the same thing. Are you not regretting this proposal? Are you sure about it? I don't really want you to get hurt. And then Aydan telling Serkan that she doesn't trust the old lady, blah blah blah, especially after what she did. So Serkan is giving Aydan an ultimatum, telling her, well, you have time till tomorrow to think about it. And then after their talk, Eda is calling Serkan Serkan and is like aşkım, and he's like, oh, tell me more, I want to hear it more. And it was just so adorable. Then after everything that happened, so Eda and Serkan convincing Aydan and Ayfer with the help of Chef Alexander, Serkan is driving Eda and Ayfer back home because they need to get everything ready, because when they accepted, he's like, okay, we will come tonight and ask for Eda's hand. And everybody's like, what, tonight? We don't have that much time, blah blah blah. So they really need to get moving, clean everything, buy everything. So Serkan is driving them home, and then he wants to say goodbye to Eda, and she just kisses his cheeks and then tells him, well, close your eyes. And he's like, oh, now I will get a kiss on the lips. But then she just walks away, and he's like so disappointed, and she's like, what did you expect? We're in the neighborhood. And I was like, oh my god, poor Serkan. Then we have this whole montage of all of them buying things for the other side. So Eda's side is buying things for Serkan's side and the other way around, and it was just so hilarious when they unpacked everything. So Ayfer bought all the sexy stuff, all the very expensive, exquisite things, and then we have Eda's side sending really, I don't know, like horrible things, not on purpose, but still, Serkan's underwear. It was just so hilarious to watch them unpack everything. Then we have them all get it ready for the night, and then we have the girls waiting for Serkan and the rest of them to appear. When the doorbell rings, it's actually Erdem, and I was like, oh my god. So they kind of closed the door on him. Then we see Serkan, Aydan, Seyfi, Ferit and Pırıl appear, and it was so awkward when Ayfer and Aydan tried to make small talk with Eda and Serkan. It was just so hilarious. Then the old lady appears and says that she's not against the marriage anymore because she saw the determination in Eda's eyes, but there's one condition for Serkan to follow the tradition. Oh no, oh my god, I got confused, I'm really sorry. So all the shopping things that I just mentioned before are actually happening after the engagement. So the old lady is like, Serkan has to follow the rules of the tradition they have in the family, and that's why she gives him the 5 pages of things that he needs to buy. Then for a short moment, Serkan is talking about Altıkin, and the old lady is confessing, or not really confessing, but admitting that she had her hand in Altıkin's arrest. But that was it, and I was really confused why they talked about it, but okay. Then we have Chef Alexander come in, then Engin also appears, and then later Aydan is desperately trying to get this whole thing over with. So when she starts the, let's just call it a poem, because it's always the same thing they do and say when they're asking for a girl's hand in marriage. So when she started it, she was like, okay, I'll have to wait a little bit, is the doorbell ringing or not, I don't want to get interrupted again. But then the old lady is like, no, there's a tradition. So then she sends Eda to make coffee, and all the girls are there putting so much salt in, and then when she brings Serkan the coffee, he's like, I hate salt, I can't do this, blah blah blah, and she's like, just drink carefully, and he almost vomits there. He's choking when he takes a sip of the coffee because it's so salty. And then they're like, okay, now we can wrap this up, we have to move on. And then finally Aydan can say her poem. Melek, I think, brings the rings, and the old lady cuts the ribbon, and they're engaged, and everybody is really happy, and I thought it was just so adorable. Finally they're happy together, even though there are going to be more and more obstacles, but at least they're together, they're married, and they know that they have each other, and they will move forward together and not by themselves. So while everybody was shopping, Eda stayed at home to iron some things. Serkan comes, but she doesn't see anybody when the doorbell rings, and when she's about to close the door, he jams the door with his foot. So she's really scared, she thinks it's an intruder, but then he is there, and he's like, well, I wanted to kind of take the moment because I know everybody is away and you're alone, so I wanted to seize the moment and spend some time with you. But then she kind of sends him away. So after that, he knocks on her door, and when she opens the door, she actually goes in for a kiss, and he's like, we're in the neighborhood, blah. Like, his reaction was amazing, 10 out of 10. Like, Serkan's reactions and facial expressions in this episode were amazing. Then we have this whole sugar gate happening. So all the guys are at Serkan's place, or not really in his apartment, but in Aydan's house where we always saw them. And Erdem is so bored. I mean, all of the guys are really bored, and Erdem tries to entertain them, sing the songs that actually are being played at the Henna night. Then we see the Henna night. Ayfer actually putting the sugar that Erdem got from the prince in the punch, and then everybody is dancing. So more like Eda and the girls are dancing, and Ayda and Ayfer, the old lady, and Balca are just watching. And then Eda also telling the girls that she wants to give everybody a second chance, because the girls were like, well, the old lady and Balca is here, blah blah blah. I get weird vibes. After some more dancing and the traditional things where Eda was sitting there with the red veil and they put henna on her hands, and it was just so emotional. I really enjoyed the henna night. And then we have Fifi and Balca, because they don't really like tradition. Fifi feeling up some glasses with the punch, so everybody was drinking from that punch except for Balca. And then weird things happened, so everybody got really sleepy except for Balca. And I was like, okay, this is really weird. How did she know to not drink, or was it just coincidence? Because the guys were so bored, they wanted to also go to the party, but then Engin was like, well, you know, Pınar, she doesn't like it when things don't go according to plan, so call first. So Serkan called Eda. She picked up but was really half in half out. So when she picked up, she was like, Serkan something, and then she was gone. And we saw two men appear, and one of them was actually the guy that waited outside the shop that Erdem was in. So I already knew that the prince was involved in everything. Before they appeared, Balca was still looking around, looking at the girls all passed out, and then she suddenly also faked being passed out. So then the guys called everybody because they got concerned, because nobody picked up. They went to the venue, and then we also see Eda in a dark car, and that's the end. Thank God we got a trailer. But one thing that I want to say before I get into analyzing the trailer, I really do hope that Balca will take the moment and redeem herself in front of Serkan and Eda. But at the same time, I think back to her telling somebody on the phone that she's still obsessed with Serkan and she won't give up on him. So I'm really confused. Why didn't she drink from that punch? Or did she, oh my god, or is she in on it with the prince? What if she made a deal with the prince? She's like, okay, I will get Serkan, you will get Eda, and both of us are happy. Anyways, let's get to the trailer. So apparently Eda is back on her feet, and the next episode will be focusing more on the bachelor party. So the guys going to Ferit Hotel or something. The girls are following them, the guys see them, and then there's a model contest happening and the guys are judging and they're all in a bikini or something like that, and then the girls are not really pleased by them doing that. And I have to say, because it's Engin's idea to do a bachelor party, I think that it will end in a chaos. And then we see Serkan in a bubble ball, and then Eda getting her rope off and her kind of stepping in and him looking at her with hungry eyes, and then we see her in the shower and him behind her, and I was like, oh my god, oh my god, will we finally get an amazing Serkan and Eda scene, or will we put that scene once again to the collection of Curtain Gate, Shower Gate, Naughty Time Gate? Like, they always cut those amazing scenes way too short, and I'm like, I'm here for it. Why don't you want to show me a little bit more, or at least release it on the internet, like do an extended cut or something like that, and not show it on TV? But I want to see that, because you can't tease me in the trailer with such an amazing scene and then not give me more. This will get me so frustrated until next episode. And I do have a feeling, even though I hope I'm wrong, I do have a feeling that they will just show us like they did the Naughty Time, like making the screen go black and then them being suddenly in the shower and then the screen goes black again and then him being behind her, and we won't see anything else because it's all fogged up and I'm so annoyed already. But yeah, I don't know what else to say. So the prince will be a creep even more. Like, I don't know, I really want to know what's up with Isma. Like, this is still a mystery to me. And then Balca still being obsessed with Serkan, or maybe she will help him find Ada. But yeah, is there anything else? I really do hope that we will get an amazing Ada and second bathroom scene. Like, please, Sanchal Kapımı team, leave the whole scene unfold in front of our eyes. We all want to see it, because you can't really tease us like that and then disappoint us, just showing us seconds or even like what we saw in the trailer and then 2 or 3 seconds more. It's not working like that, and that's not making us happy. At least it's not making me happy. I think I'm rambling way too much. I'm really sorry. But yeah, I think I said everything. I hope I mentioned everything. If I forgot anything, I'm really sorry. Yeah, if you still like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It will really mean a lot to me. Comment down below what your thoughts are on this amazing episode, what your thoughts are on Aziz, so Pugga's father, and this whole Henna night gay thing happening, Ada being kidnapped, everybody passing out except for Balca. Is she in on it? Is she not in on it? So yeah, let me know down below. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Ring that bell to be notified whenever I post something, and I will see you next time. Bye!